If you've clicked on this video, most likely you have one of these. And in this video, I'm gonna show you 7 hidden tips and tricks to get more performance out of your PlayStation 5. And there's also gonna be a bonus tip at the end of the video that most people don't even know about. And if I'm being fully honest, I didn't even know about it until I started doing research for this video. Let's get started. Our first tip has to do with the garbage and inconsistent internet speeds that most PlayStations suffer from. I personally myself have suffered with the same problems even with my PlayStation 5 Pro, which is supposed to have better internet connectivity. But a lot of that is to blame on the default DNS that the PlayStation uses, which is the PSN network DNS, which is notoriously known for being not great. But thankfully, there's a very easy fix to this problem. To change the DNS settings in the PlayStation 5, we're going to go to Settings, Network, scroll down to Settings, and go to Set up Network Connection. Then while you're on your network, you're going to press the option buttons, click Advanced Settings, and in here you can see you can change the DNS settings. We're going to set it to manual, and in here we're going to change the primary DNS and the secondary DNS to the most reliable DNS out there, which is Google's, and that would be 8.8.8.8 as the primary one, and the backup one is also going to be Google's, which is 8.8.4.4. So these are both Google's DNSs. You can also use other ones like Cloudflare or whatever, but these are the most common ones and known to be the best and most reliable ones. So once you've done that, press OK. It's going to reconnect to your internet and it's going to connect through the new DNS. And trust me, this will make a huge difference when it comes to drops in games, when it comes to ping, when it comes to consistent disk download speeds. All of the above are going to be better over Wi-Fi or wired.
While most gaming laptop companies are always raising their prices, today's video sponsor is actually doing the opposite, because this is the Thunderobot Storm 17 gaming laptop, and it can be configured with all sorts of specs, and it only starts at $1,099. Like this one I have right here with an RTX 5060 and an Intel i7 13th Gen CPU, 16 gigs of DDR5 memory, and 1 terabyte of M.2 SSD, and it's all displayed on a 1440p 17.3 inches 165 Hz display. But my favorite part about the Storm 17 is the cyberpunk aesthetic with the RGB cutouts and the logo on the back. Now the cool part is the Thunderobot is going to be running special prices for their Prime Day, so they'll even be more affordable, and you can check them out in the link down below.
Now, one of the best features that the PlayStation 5 has is called VRR, or Variable Refresh Rate. And the way that VRR works is basically matching the hertz or the refresh on your TV to the frames that your PlayStation is putting out. Basically, hertz and frames per second matching the same number gives you smoother gameplay. That's all that means. But to be able to use VRR, your TV has to support it as well, and most TVs in 2026 have it natively, but there's also some settings to change to make sure it's working properly. To make sure VRR is working right, we're going to go to Settings, scroll down to Screen and Video, come down here, and you're going to see VRR as the option. You want this set to automatic because it'll know if a TV supports it or not, and then under here you're going to see a setting that says Apply to Unsupported Games. I highly recommend turning that on because it'll make all games smoother to play and just more enjoyable.
Tip number 3. If you care about having the smoothest gameplay when playing video games and having the highest amount of FPS you can get, and you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of quality to have the smoothest gameplay you can get, then this tip is highly recommended.
We're going to open up Settings, scroll down, and go to Save Data and Game/App Settings. And in here, we're going to set the global prioritization that every game will run in performance mode. This basically will set every game that you have into performance mode instead of you having to set it every time you open your game. And that way, you never have to worry about that setting, and every time you boot up a game, it's going to run in the best performance mode, which means the most frames you can get in that game. And by the way, you can do the same thing for the difficulty of the game. So if you're somebody who plays their games on hardcore, you can do the same thing here. You can say, I want to play on the hardest or the easiest every time I boot into a game. These two settings are very handy in my opinion. Now, if your PlayStation 5 has been having glitches or stuttering or sometimes gets stuck in the middle of the game, that potentially could be some corrupt data on your PlayStation 5 regarding that game or any of the settings around that game. But thankfully, there's a quick and easy way to reconstruct the database of your PlayStation 5 for it to run like new. And to do that, first thing we got to do is go to Settings, then we're going to go to Game and Save Data, and then on your PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4, if you're doing that on, we're going to sync save data because we don't want to lose anything that is in here. We're going to basically just come in here, review the status, and make sure everything that you play is synced. All that right here, we want all of this to be synced. That basically your saved gameplay and saved everything has been synced to the cloud, and you don't have to worry about losing any saved gameplay. Now, once you do this, we're gonna turn off the PlayStation completely. Once your PlayStation is turned off, we're gonna boot into safe mode and reconstruct the database. And to boot into the safe mode on the PlayStation, we're gonna hold the power button until we hear a second beep. It's gonna take a few seconds, but then it will boot into safe mode. Ready? First beep, keep holding, don't let go. There we go. Second beep, now it's gonna boot into safe mode. But to be able to use the controller in safe mode, we need to connect via USB because the wireless connection does not work in safe mode. Okay, I've got the controller connected, we're gonna turn it on. And in the safe mode, we're gonna scroll down to number 6, clear cache and rebuild database. You can do both of these options. Rebuild database basically rebuilds all the games and the file structure. You can do both, and you can do the clear system cache. The more important one is clear system software cache, but I highly recommend doing both. This basically clears all temporary files and rebuilds the game database. Click on clear cache. The system software cache will be cleared. Okay, it's gonna run, restart, clear the cache, and boot back into PlayStation 5. And then you can do the same thing for rebuilding the database. And don't worry, this is not gonna delete your games. This is just gonna reconstruct the database and just have everything better organized in your database. Keep in mind, rebuilding the database will take a few hours. So just before you do that, make sure maybe do it at nighttime or something before you go to sleep. Press OK, and it's gonna start rebuilding your database. Now, I highly recommend you do this if you're feeling any glitching or any stuttering with your PlayStation. This basically will keep all your games, keep all your saved files. Everything is on the cloud when it comes to the gameplay, and it's just gonna clear any temporary files, any cache, anything that could cause problems, especially with corrupt data. You know, you've had your PlayStation for 5 years, you've installed so many games, you've deleted so many games, there's gotta be corrupt data and problems with the database. So I personally recommend this. I know it's kind of scary. It's like, oh, I'm in the BIOS of the PlayStation 5 and I'm messing with things. No, you're not. PlayStation 5 is dummy proof. You really can't break it.
For tip number 5, we're gonna improve the colors of your game on your TV, especially if you have an older TV. This setting will make the games pop way more and all the colors pop way more. It'll make you feel like you have an OLED if you don't have an OLED. Let's just say that. Now keep in mind, this is purely based off of preference, and you can test this on your setup to see if you like it or not.
Okay, to enable this color change, we're gonna go to accessibility. We're gonna basically go to color correction. This is meant for blind people or colorblind people. But I noticed if you click this, you enable it, you press OK, and then in color change, we're gonna choose green/red. Put that on that. I noticed that to be the best intensity at 100%. You can see the colors already pop more. And then an optional thing is high contrast. If you want things to be more detailed and you like a darker, just more detailed gameplay, I would turn on high contrast. And now when you go into a game, everything just is more. Basically, the colors are gonna pop more. Now I noticed that this works okay with OLED. If you don't have an OLED TV or you don't have an OLED monitor, I would highly recommend you test this on your setup, see if you like it, see if you mix the colors better for you. But yeah, this definitely doesn't improve the performance, but it can make your game look better. Okay, for tip number 6, it actually has to do with the latency on your controller. If you're somebody who games with a controller competitively on the PlayStation 5, I highly recommend doing this. Now, this does require you having to plug your controller directly to the PlayStation 5 and only using it via wired. And this trick is the forced USB method on the controller. And to enable this low latency mode, we're gonna come into the settings, scroll down to accessories, find controller general in here, and then under a communication method, we're gonna press this and we're gonna say use USB cable. So basically, this is gonna force the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 controller to only USB and never rely on the Bluetooth capability. This is gonna help a lot with latency because the PlayStation 5 uses Bluetooth all the time, regardless if you're plugged in or not. So forcing it to use the USB cable will give you better latency and faster response time. So if you're somebody who's very competitive, this setting is definitely for you. Now, tip number 7 actually has to do with resolution. And since we all know that the PlayStation 5 actually doesn't support 4K 120 FPS, I noticed that if you force the PlayStation 5 to output a lower resolution, you will get better performance, which makes a lot of sense. And that is actually highly recommended if you're playing on like a 4K monitor or a 1440p monitor, whatever device that supports a lower resolution. If you go to these settings and scroll down to screen and video, and you come in here, and obviously when you click on resolution, it's going to be set to the highest your monitor will support. My TV does not support 1440p, but I can do 1080p and that will get me better performance. Yes, the quality is gonna be not as good, but doing this on the PlayStation 5 is also a little trick that you can do to get the best performance you can get, highest frames in any game you're about to play, if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of quality. And honestly, I just changed my settings to 1080p and it doesn't even look that bad. So, okay, so those were the 7 tips that I wanted to share with you guys today, but there's also a bonus tip, and that has to do with the HDMI. Anytime you plug in your PlayStation 5 to the TV, especially a TV that has ALLM capability, which is low latency mode built into the TV to help your PlayStation have the lowest latency possible when it comes to your video signal, you want to use a high quality HDMI, especially a 2.1 HDMI, which is going to allow for the highest transfers possible, the fastest possible, and obviously you don't want the cable to be too long. My recommendation is 6 to 8 feet. That's like the ideal sweet spot for the best latency. So the cable that you're plugged into the PlayStation 5 that you have matters more than you know, but with the right HDMI cable and a TV that supports ALLM LLM, you're going to be getting the best possible latency when it comes to the connection between these two devices. Now, that last bonus tip wraps up our video, and I hope this was useful to you guys in any way with your PlayStation 5. And if you found this video useful at all, maybe hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.